One of the most interesting things about competitive video games, or more affectionately known as esports, is the divide between them and actual sports like basketball or football. The main difference is in physical ability of a competitor, their strength, endurance, how tight they can dribble, how long they can keep running for. With esports, the physical capabilities required are much less significant and apparent, more along the lines of APM, reactions, eye-hand coordination. It's funny in the way that we're so different in this regard, yet we share a similar mental toll, because at the heart of it, we're still competitors. Improving in Melee means putting in the time, practicing frequently, going to tournaments, thinking about the game, analysing your play, researching information, watching good players, digesting everything and applying it to your own gameplay. The process is draining and there is no shortcut to putting in work. Performing in tournament adds an entirely different kind of challenge. Executing tech, analysing opponents, adapting your play, dealing with a crowd, maintaining your focus, keeping up your energy and making calculated decisions, all at rapid speeds for the entirety of a tournament. Competing in Melee not only tests your resolve to improve, but your ability to perform in high stress situations. If you want to be successful in Melee, you have to have good mindset, otherwise you'll quit or you'll crumble and no one would blame you for it. This is possibly my favourite quote that sums up how Melee is as a competitor, and possibly summarises many sports in general, with just a few changes here and there. It really nails down how difficult it can be mentally, which I think is the area we can truly say both regular sports and esports share.
But Mutaking plays this game where if you make a tiny mistake, you eat your mistake.
Yeah, you're in a world of hurt.
You're in for a world of hurt.
I like to make the comparison between regular sports and esports because there's so much reference from them. They've been around so long, they've had a vast amount more experience than gamers, and to not study their methods would be a missed opportunity. In Major League Baseball, the season begins with spring training in February, and the exhibition games are also played in February and March. The regular season begins in early April and it ends in September. The playoffs take place in October when a World Series champion is eventually crowned. Regular sports are far more rigid in structure than our current Melee season. Melee isn't as large an esport as League of Legends or Dota 2. We have a large spike during the summer of Smash and our regular nationals like the Big House and Genesis at particular times. With regular sports, you can see they have off-season in which they can intentionally break to recover energy for various reasons, usually physical, but there are often underlying mental effects to take into account. In Melee and most other fighting games, unless you're massive like League, it's simply not the case, and the time in which you choose to break is very open. Although Melee doesn't not have a defined time to take a break from competing, it still doesn't stop players from doing so. Armada and Lemme have been known to take breaks when travel or competing become too much or too stressful. This makes a lot of sense, as living in another country and counting on yourself to perform, along with weaker practice to prepare, is definitely very stressful for them. There are many reasons to warrant taking a break, like the one I just mentioned is to de-stress. Melee is as serious as any other sport when you give it your all, so this will happen pretty naturally. Another big reason is due to burnout, which is tied to stress in the similar way that it affects your outlook on the game. Burnout can be caused for several reasons, but the most common ones are overplaying, overcompeting, not improving, and motivation. When you try to force and push yourself through something that isn't working for you anymore, you'll find yourself feeling burned out, so taking a break is a good way to gain perspective on what drives you and what is required to change. The main personal problem I have with taking a break is that it's like a sign of weakness. What I mean by this is you have to stop playing because you're not good enough, or you're just wasting time you could be using to practice, for example. While my brain likes to think these things, I do not agree with them in retrospect. If you treat taking a break like it's a part of your practice, just like Major League Baseball, then it's clearly beneficial for you to jump over the next hurdle in your improvement.
Time Muffin, I've beaten as a ghetto Adam Amsa recently, and he's getting walked over by someone who isn't top 10. You can, he gets it! Time Muffin
goes out there with a shine. I love to see that.
Absolutely destroyed.
You just saw his confidence building the whole way through the set, and then it culminated.
I've actually been taking a break from Melee the past week, playing for fun here and there, but no serious practice. I feel it's helped me to understand again why I'm playing the game and the goals I want to achieve, along with how exactly I want to get there. Before, I was incredibly stressed with things outside of Melee which spilled over into the game. However, taking the time to deal with these things actually lifted up both problems and now has left me on a better path to improvement. I hope you consider taking a break from whatever competitive game you play if you're feeling burned out, and come back to it with a newfound enjoyment. There is virtue in work, and there is virtue in rest. Use both and overlook neither. Thanks for watching.
All it takes. Oh! Time Muffin shows us not working definitely pays off.
Quit your jobs, people, and go on the dole. It's the only way to success.
Oh, that was good.